Hi, my name is Gabe Arnold. I'm the founder and CEO of Business Marketing Engine, which is BME for short. And today, what I want to share with you is how you can create content that brings in new customers for your business. Sometimes we approach content as the last thing we want to do or have time to do. And sometimes we approach our content marketing with overwhelm or, confusion. And it doesn't have to be that way. You actually already possess everything you need to be successful with your content marketing. And so I'm going to share that with you today. So one of the reasons why it's really important for us to engage in and invest in our content marketing is because it actually paves the path and creates the way for us to truly educate and serve our audience, which leads to them being ready to buy a lot faster. It leads to them understanding that we truly are the authority and the expert in what we do, and that we are actually here to serve and help them. And so with content marketing, one of the things to realize is that there's not some grand, crazy strategy designer plan. There's not all these weird requirements that you have to understand with content marketing to be successful in it. There's plenty of people that actually just understand that if they share sincerely, honestly, authentically about what they're doing, that they're going to get great results. And that's what connects you to your audience. I've had the pleasure of, in the last few weeks, having a lot of conversations with different listeners like you, who've reached out and said, man, I really like the marketing tips. I like the strategies. I like seeing you go live every day. It gives me fuel. It gives me ideas. And I just want to be candid and honest and say that, I don't always know if what I'm going to share is going to land or help or be useful. It's always my intention to make sure something's really powerful and useful, but not every single thing I share is super impactful or the most popular thing. And that's okay. When we create content, there's just a handful of things to remember that if we do consistently over time, we will become the authority to our audience, to our prospects. And when they want to buy, they're going to already know, oh, you're the person to work with because I've heard you talk about this a bunch of times. And so the first thing to do with your content is just remember this. I would encourage you to write these things down so they don't escape you. Is first, just answer your audience's questions, your prospects, your customers, your audience's questions thoroughly and accurately. There's nothing inside of your business that's unique. I hate to break it to you, but there's really nothing that's unique or special. You do the same thing that thousands and maybe even hundreds of thousands of other companies do. And so in the past, people would say, oh, that's my secret sauce, or I don't want to share that part, or I don't know if I should talk to my audience about that. By doing that, all you're doing is lowering your credibility, lowering trust, and putting them in a position where they're missing information. With a quick Google search, with a quick search on YouTube, by even getting on Amazon and buying a book or something about the topic, your audience can find accurate and specific information about the problem they're trying to solve. And so if you don't give that to them, you're driving them somewhere else. So one of the best ways to create content is to ask yourself, what are the questions that I've gotten a lot of recently or even over the years, and write down those questions. And then make a plan to thoroughly, accurately, answer those questions in a video that you might post, in an email you write, in a blog post, in a PDF guide you create. And the more time that you spend to be detailed and specific in writing out that answer, the more valuable you're going to be to your audience because you're serving them, you're giving them the information they want, and you can even tell them step by step how you do something or how they can do it on their own. Because most people don't invest with you simply, around price or money or those things. Most people are going to invest with you because they want to save time and they want expertise. And so it doesn't matter if you tell them everything that happens in the process, they're still not going to have the time or the expertise to do it. But when you are specific and you break down the details and you answer that question really thoroughly, that is going to show them oh, they really know what they're doing. And I understand the process. And I've already been educated on what this is going to look like if I choose to work with them. I had a friend of mine and I were jumping on and working on a project together a couple of weeks ago. And he said, I had the weirdest experience. He said, I had a prospect call me and say, here's what we want to do. And here's the services that we need. And this is the step-by-step process that we want to follow. And he said, it was like I was listening to myself on a sales call, but the prospect was explaining to me what they want. They even explained their budget. And at the end, they said, and we want to work with you. He's like, all right, cool. And he's like, that was the easiest sales call I've had in a long time. And as I dug into it, my friend shared with me that all he had done is write content that explained step-by-step how a system worked, the results that it get, what they should expect, the challenges, all the details. And he was just consistent in sharing that kind of information. And it led to exactly what it'll lead to for you. It will lead to people reaching out and saying, hey, I know that you run this process. I know you have this solution. I want to work with you. And that's it. There's really no sales conversation because you've already educated them through your content marketing. The second thing to really pay attention to is when you write out content, when you produce a video, ideally write out all the project steps, all the service breakdowns, all the details of how the entire process is going to go so that they have that guide. They already know what it's going to be like to work with you. That builds trust. It helps them show you're the expert. It answers their problems. How many times have you gone to a website looking for information? Like pricing is one of my things that I really, get frustrated with is if I'm like, I need a solution. I know I'm going to need to make an investment. I'm always happy to make an investment, but there's no pricing or, book a call with us to learn about the packages. That is just a way to frustrate your customers because you're giving them incomplete information. Now, I'm not saying you should say, here is our exact price for this solution because there is customizations or they might need more product than just one thing. But you can accurately say like, this is typically the budget for this type of thing, or this product or service starts at this price point. Even if you can't give specific things because you do have a custom process, you can still educate and say, this is the range of what those types of things cost. And so here's how the process works. That's really key in your marketing is to be accurate and give full information as much as possible. Yes, you don't need to disclose what you pay your team by the hour or who gets paid what. That's private information. But really, there's only a small handful of things that you shouldn't be putting out there. And when you're really accurate, when you put a bunch of detail into it, when you answer questions thoroughly, you'll not only have a lifelong stream of content that you can write about, talk about in video, share with your audience, but also you're going to be serving them and building that trust. The last thing to remember is when you're creating content that actually brings in new customers is make sure that you use the language that they use and not the language that you use. The best way to determine how are my prospects, how are my customers, how is my audience talking about this problem and the solution that they want is to survey them, to have them fill out a short written survey and then look at the words they use. And then to follow up with as many of those people as you can and say, hey, I got your survey response. It was really valuable to me. Can we take 10 minutes on the phone or on a quick video call? And can we talk through your answers? That way you not only get the basic answers that they got, but you get all the context behind it. Oh yeah, I chose to work with you because I saw this one video that you talked about your process and that's what really sold me. Or you know what, I chose to work with you because you're so consistent with the emails that you send. I knew you could help me be consistent with my marketing. Those are things that I've heard before. And so when we take that approach, we're going to not only have the survey, so we have the language that our customers are using in writing, but then if we can get on a recorded call is the ideal. You can record what they're saying and go, oh, when my audience talks about this product that I have, this is how they describe it. Or when my audience talks about this service we deliver, this is how they talk about it. And so you can use that language because it's familiar to them. It's how they understand the process. And you can really be approaching your content marketing from the perspective of saying, how do I talk about this in a way that they'll relate to and they understand? And how do I set aside all the deep knowledge I have that would probably overwhelm them and just keep it simple and on point? So by using those approaches, by using these principles, you're going to have content that actually brings in new customers for you. It's going to bring in ideal customers, and you're going to shorten the sales cycle, and you're going to increase trust. So remember to answer their questions thoroughly and accurately. Remember to write out all the steps of using your product or going through your service or going through the details. And remember to include pricing and specifics and everything you can, even if it's a budget range or an estimate based on the project. You're still giving more information than saying, oh, you have to talk to us to get these information, that detail. And then the third is remember to use the language they use, survey them, talk to them live, make notes, and use the language that your audience uses because they will trust you more and your content will actually convert and bring you new customers. If you need help with any of this, please reach out. We have a very effective process that we use that helps us take our clients' exact voice and style and match it to what their audience actually wants in their language. And we're able to bring content together in such a way that it's truly powerful and serves you and your business and all your customers. You can reach us at businessmarketingengine.com. I appreciate you taking time to tune in today, and I will see you on tomorrow's show.